Hello, fellow mini makers. We're going to make something today that I have been asked over and over, requesting for people to show me how I make popcorn. Now, miniature popcorn is absolutely adorable, and every time I am able to use it in a scene or a miniature, it just comes across as so much fun and so tiny and so much detail that everyone just really seems to love it. And you can use it as a bowl of popcorn with butter melted on it. You could use a popcorn strand to decorate a Christmas tree. The uses are kind of endless, but it's a lot of fun to do. And a lot of people have asked, how do you make popcorn look so real? So I'm going to show you how I do that. We are going to start off with this ball of the popcorn. We do this in 2 pieces, actually, popcorn. It's actually quite easy to do, and we can get started here. We're going to take just some basic white clay. I just grabbed a random amount, and we'll make several pieces of popcorn off of this. And we want to roll this out into our usual snake form. And remember, this is white clay, so we don't want to overwork it too much because it gets really soft if you do. So we're going to take this down just as far as we need. And I guess we can say this is like a little bit bigger than, I guess, a strand of spaghetti. So we're going to bring it to there, and we're going to cut little pieces off. They don't have to be exact. Popcorn is not exact. So we're going to start cutting little pieces. And if you see that on the end of my blade, it's quite tiny, but that's about the size we're going for. So we're going to make several cuts. And I like doing it this way because the little pieces stick to the blade as I cut. And we're going to use these as the little balls of our popcorn. And I don't think we'll make a few of these, but we'll show how to make one and show what a collected they are afterwards. So we've got enough pieces there. That's what we're going to work with. And what I do from here is I pull these little pieces off, and I just roll them into tiny balls, about like that. And once again, perfection is not necessary here because no popcorn is perfect. They all pop into different shapes. So we're going to roll out these tiny pieces. We don't have to do them all, but we'll do a couple. Okay, so you get the idea with that. Now, on the end of the popcorn, we usually have the poof where it actually pops out. People, utilize all different kinds of cutters and things like that to find their little shapes. Years ago, I bought some cutters, and they're called Kemper cutters. And what I like to use at this point is this tiny cutter, which has a plunger action, which pushes out the piece if it gets stuck. But this is in the shape of a tiny flower. And this makes the perfect poofy bottom to our popcorn. So we are going to take a small piece. And then I'm going to show you also what we can do if you do not have that cutter, what you can do instead to make this work for you. So we're going to flatten out a small piece about like that. It doesn't have to be very flat, and it doesn't have to be perfect by any means. So we're going to put that on there, and we're going to give it just 1 or 2 little rolls to flatten it out. Just enough. And then we're going to cut out our flower shape. And we don't want this piece too thick because it's going to make your popcorn bulky if you do. Okay, 7, that's what I have. Now, I'm going to also show you, this is a small circle cutter. And if you don't have a flower cutter, most people can find something small a small straw or the end of a pen or something that can give them a small circle cut. And I'm going to make one of these to show you if you don't have the flower, you can still do the end piece with this. So we're going to peel away the excess. And on this circle piece, if I didn't have the flower cutter, I would take this with my needle tool and I would simply pull in around the edges as such, giving it a bulky yet flower kind of shape to it. So you can see, even with the circle, we got something very similar to what we have going on in these. So you can make do if you don't have that flower cutter. We can still make that work. So we're going to pull these off of our tray, as so. And now we're going to take a single ball like this, and we're going to take one of our flower pieces, like so, and we're going to fit it right on top of our circle. Now we're not really going to press hard, just enough to make it stick there, just like so. And then I take my stylus. A stylus is a very important piece to have in your toolbox collection for a clay worker. I have several different sizes, starting from very, very small, and they usually work their way up to quite large. On this one, I'm not going to go with the smallest, but I'm going to go with the next one up. It's pretty small, and we're going to push right into the center of that flower, just a little bit. Now that we have it stuck on the end of the stylus, I don't want to distort the ball on the end of this too much, so I go to the outside of the flower edges and I push them randomly down around my stylus. And you see immediately it's taken on the shape of a piece of popcorn. Just like that. Just like that. We don't want to overwork it at this point. We can distort it a little bit more. You could take off one of the little edges. You can pull one up, push one further down, because popcorn is all different. But this is a beautiful classic piece of popcorn right there. And it's got that little indent in the center, which after baking, we're going to come back through and put a touch of brownish yellow right in the center, which represents the husk of the popcorn and gives it an even more realistic touch. So let's do another. Just place them together. Make sure it's stuck. And then we push our stylus in the center, trying not to distort too much, and then push down our edges. If you do get distortion on the ball and it pushes down into it, don't fret. Like I said, popcorn comes in all sizes, so we'll call that a finished piece as well. Now I'm going to finish putting all of these together, and I'll throw them in the oven to bake after we get them all together. And then I will come back and we will finish up our project. Okay, we are back. We finished making all of our popcorn pieces here. And I decided to go a step ahead, and I wanted to show what this finished product can look like once it's all put together. So I took one of the little bowls that I have. This is a UV resin bowl with a mold that I use. And I use this for little ice cream displays and just bowls of stuff throughout my minis. And what I did was I packed it with white clay, and I textured the surface. And this is going to be the bottom of our bowl of popcorn. This way we don't have to fill the entire bowl full of the handmade pieces. It's going to look like popcorn underneath once we place these pieces on top, and it's going to look like a full bowl of popcorn. So all of our little pieces here have been baked, so they're all hardened. And look at that. I mean, when you push those together, it looks like popcorn. But we're going to go one step further. And what we need to do is add the tiny dark marks in the center that represent the husk of the popcorn, because that's really gives it some character. So I have some brown paint here, just basic light brown. And we're going to water this paint down quite a bit because we're only going to use the smallest amount and we don't need it very dark. So I'm just going to pull a little bit over onto my metal tray here with my paintbrush. And I'm going to dip into water and add some water to it. I'm going to add quite a bit because I really want this thinned down to just kind of an inky sort of consistency. Because like I said, we're really only going to use a couple of dots per piece, and we want it to not be overly prominent. So we're going to start with our first little piece here. And when you turn it upside down, in the tiny flower that we put on there, we put the indent in and formed it. And this is where we're going to put our brown. We're just going to touch a little bit on the inside. No perfection whatsoever. And that's it. We're going to stop right there. It's just a tiny little bit on the inside of each piece. It's going to dry relatively quickly. And like I said, you really can't get too watered down at this point. In fact, I'm even going to add another little touch of water to this because I just want just the faintest amount in there. So we've got that pretty thin now. And we're going to put, like I said, just the tiniest little bit. You can kind of pull it out a little bit for the husk. And we're going to do this for every piece. It won't take too long. It goes pretty quick. But this is what gives the detail to your miniatures. When you're making tiny stuff, it's easy to stop at the first part, the second part, because it looks cute. It really does. But it's when you continue it to part 3, part 4, and add those little extra touches in that it really comes together as a very detailed miniature. So just adding these little bits in to the center really makes such a difference. No perfection by any means. I'm just going to dab it in, move it around. I might have it a little too watery now. It's okay. We'll put a little thicker in there. Bring it up on some of the kernels. You see how you can kind of wisp it up? Because, I mean, no two popcorn kernels are the same. It's like snowflakes. They're all different, and they're all kind of crooked and bent and popped in their own way. But look at the detail that adds. That turns that from just a chunk of white clay into a piece of popcorn. I mean, it's just too cute. Absolutely too cute. So we're going to continue with these. Have just a few more to go. Excuse me. And when we're done, we're going to take these pieces and we are going to, one by one, glue them into our bowl that we have here with the white clay already baked in it. And by the time we're done, it's going to look like a bowl of popcorn ready to sit down and watch a good movie with. And I suppose you could go even further if you wanted to and drizzle some shaded yellow clear coat or something over the top to make it look like buttery popcorn. I might have to try that sometime. If I do, I will show you and we'll see what it looks like together. So we're almost done here. We have a couple more, pieces to go. Now we don't have to put a clear coat on any of these because popcorn's not shiny. So we don't have to worry about that. So we'll get this last piece, put a little in there. Okay. Rinse out our brush. And now we have finished popcorn. Look at those. You can see even the tint of the brown in the center really, really makes all the difference and turns these into little bits of popcorn. How adorable. Okay, so we have those, and now we have our bowl. And what I'm going to do is, this is the glue I use. I love this glue, Aleene's Tacky Glue. I use this for almost everything. Unless I'm gluing my little glass jars in my cabinets and on my displays, and then I use more permanent glue. But tacky glue, it works quickly, it works well, but it's not waterproof. So make sure anything you use this for isn't going to get wet, because if it gets wet, it undoes itself. So we're not going to worry about that on this project though. And this is not going to get wet. So I'm going to place a little bit of glue on our pan here. Set that aside. And now I'm going to use my needle tool. Or no, I take that back. We're going to use our tweezers. That's what we need here. And every good miniature creator needs a good pair of tweezers. These are my crafty tweezers. I like the little angle at the end. And I use these all the time to pick up tiny pieces rather than frustrate myself of trying to pick them up and drop them again and again, because that's what I do. So we're going to take our little pieces of popcorn and randomly give them an angle. We're going to dip them in this glue, and we're going to put them in our bowl. And we're going to put them every which way. Let's get this glue over here. So we're going to go piece by piece, give it a little dip in the glue, and place it in our bowl. Now, we don't have to hug and cover every single piece, because that's why we have the white below. It's going to represent the popcorn below this layer we're putting in. So, bit by bit, we'll cover our surface with our popcorn. And you can already see how it's coming together to coat and look like a real batch of popcorn. I think we've made enough to cover the entire surface here. Oh, this is just so cute. Imagine this sitting on your little miniature coffee table next to the TV, ready for movie night in your little dollhouse. How cute. Or next to the Christmas tree, where you can string the popcorn and put it on the Christmas tree. I do that too, and I might make a video to show you just how to do that, to string this up and string it on a miniature Christmas tree. What fun memories that is. And we're turning these in all different directions, so you really get a good view of all the popcorn. We're going to try to fit every piece on here, I think. Just dip some glue and put it into place. And it's okay if the glue goes over a little bit, since everything in here is pretty much white. It doesn't really matter. So we're not going to see that in the end. But we do want to get them close together as we can, because we have enough to fill this. Okay, a couple more pieces. I can see that coming together real cute. Oh my goodness. I feel the need to go make some popcorn now. Okay, there we go. Almost done. Look at that. How adorable. Oh, stick back on there. Look at that. We have one more piece that we're going to fit in. And we're just going to put it right on the top just to finish it off. Right up there. Look at that. Okay. Now it's all in place. Look at this. There's your miniature bowl of popcorn. And imagine if you made a little cardboard box out of it, like at the movie theater with the red stripes, and filled it and had these pieces stacked over the top. What a cute little movie night miniature that would make. Alrighty, we are done with this project now, and thank you for joining me to see how this was done. Remember to subscribe to my channel to see my further videos, and make sure you go up and check on the little bell so that you'll get notified every time I post a new video. And remember, a creator's desk is always messy.